Hello, everybody. Here we are with another beard video. I have a very special guest today. We're on Google Hangouts, and we're going to be talking to our friend Michael Owen. Michael, say hello.
Hello.
Now, usually I interview people on my channel that have really long beards, and I'm usually one of those people that have a long beard. And recently I trimmed my beard, and it's coming back in again. I'm excited for it to grow. But I wanted to have Michael as a guest on the show because Michael has been very passionate about the beard and speaking about it in his personal life and also how important it is in general for every man to have a beard. And recently, Michael decided to trim his beard as well, and he's letting it grow in again. So, Michael, you and I are two former long bearders on our way back to having a long beard. But I want to discuss this with you. And before we do, anyone that's watching that has as much passion as for long beards as much as me and Michael do, don't get upset of us. We still love the beard, and we still have beards, and it's going to be long again. So, Michael, share a little bit of input of your situation over there.
My YouTube channel had started because of a friend just saying, "Hey, you need to make videos." They just like to hear me talk or whatever. I don't know, whatever for whatever reason they said make videos, and it just so happened at that time I was also starting to decided to grow a 1 year beard, and I was just going to grow it for 1 year and see what happened, just because I never had, and I also had heard a lot about what hair and beards might be. I'm just curious about science and why why we're this way. I mean, we have arms for a reason, ears for a reason, nose for a reason, and a lot of men have beards for a reason, and long hair. I mean, and so I just was kind of curious about what it means to have one. And so after I had one for a while, I knew what it meant, but maybe I'd forgotten the benefits of having a beard because I've had him for so long. I took him for granted. So when I decided that I was at one point was probably going to take it away, and I had a lot of people on my channel, a lot of opposition saying, please don't do it. No, 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 you don't need to do that. But I still, for my own exploration, needed to remove it in order to figure it all out. And I had a big gap where I wasn't making any videos for a long time because I really didn't know what I thought yet. I'm like, definitely see that I'm missing something. I definitely feel differently. People react to me differently. But there was just so much. It was so overwhelming that I just need time to kind of gather my thoughts and really didn't come up with much. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to grow it back. And I'm going to document this again, and I'm going to do it a different way. I'm going to, I was going for speed my first time. I just went as quickly as I can get the longest beard you could see. I wanted to get as quick as possible. And so this next time, I want to get it as thick as possible, and I wanted to look good along the way. So, and a big part of that was my wife, because my wife had to be on board for me to grow it out, because I'd rather be married than have a big long beard.
Exactly. I actually interviewed somebody about that, and he said luckily his wife enjoys his beard, but if she didn't, he would shave because, or at least trim it because, his marriage is more important than his beard, which is it's a good thing you mentioned that because my wife didn't have an issue with the long beard, or at least she said she didn't. But what she said she had an issue with was me idolizing the beard. She said that's all I spoke about, and that's all my whole life became wrapped around my beard.
Uh-huh.
And then of course I made up my video. She also had a problem with the beard hairs that were hanging all over the house, but she didn't actually have a problem with the beard. But I know when I did finally trim it just a little at the bottom and cleaned it up just a little, she was a little happy about it. And my poor daughter, my 6-year-old daughter, when I came home and I surprised them and I trimmed it, I mean, I've never heard anyone scream so loud in her. I mean, she was so sad,
Wow.
and it broke my heart. But we did what we did, and we learned. Sometimes we gotta learn our lessons the hard way. And I think when we regrow it back, it's going to help us appreciate it even more, right?
Yeah. I know guys have been growing since, like, well, get my father-in-law, for example, has had a beard since he was 16. Whenever he turned 16, he told his mom, I'm never cutting my beard again, and now it's past his belt buckle, and that's where it is, terminal length for him. and he just has it. And when I first met him, I thought, when are you gonna ever cut that? What do you look like under there? I don't know. And he's like, I don't see any reason to cut it, you know. And but I was passionate about having him cut it. Now, for me, I'd never grown one, so as I started growing out, you know, it was new to me, and I could easily remove it because I remember myself without the beard. He doesn't even know who he would be if he didn't have the beard, and that would be scary. You know, for me, I know who I am under here. I know I'm attractive to my wife, clean shaven. He doesn't know. He's scared, and but I loved and admire him, and it's one of the biggest motivators was him, and how he just said, well, it must grow there for a reason, so I'm growing it out, you know.
Well, wonderful. Speaking about motivators, you were one of the biggest motivators for me to actually have a YouTube channel and talk more about my beard because I had so much passion about it, and I would put it on my other channel every now and then, but I decided, man, this guy has a great channel. And what I love about your channel is there are other people that have beards that make videos about like how to grow a beard or how to trim a beard, but your videos were more personal about how you walk and your thoughts about just life with the beard, and that was unique, and that's what I really loved, and I want my channel to be like, and I really enjoyed that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and now, you know, another thing too is you mentioned about the reaction you're getting, and I don't know about you, I guess you're in the same stage as I am now. Is like, you know, there's different stages of the beard, and like when I had at this stage now, it's still at the stage since I had already had a long beard and trimmed it. Now everyone's like, oh, you look so much better with a trimmed beard. But I remember the first time I grew the beard and it was at this length, people are like, when are you going to shave? Because you know, but now it's much shorter than it was, so they're like, well, that's really nice that you don't have this big long beard. But then it
Right.
got to a point where like a little bit long, and now it starts to look dirty to some people and like a bum or whatever some people would say. But the longer it gets, now it starts looking like I would get a rabbi a lot, and then all of a sudden, now Duck Dynasty has done more for people's opinions about beards than anything else. So instead of people call me homeless, now they will call me like Duck Dynasty. Did you get comments like that?
I heard a lot about it, people getting that comment, but for some reason I didn't get it. But maybe a couple times. I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't get that comment, but I heard a lot of people did.
So what's the reaction of your wife since you've trimmed it?
Um, Strangely enough, she misses my long beard, and I think that goes along with what she's used to, and that's what makes it so difficult for a clean-shaven person to start growing a beard is the opposition that they are going to get. Like, oh my gosh, you need to shave, you need to shave. But that's just because they knew him that way, and if they had had a beard and then trimmed it back to that length, so no one would say they needed to shave because in their mind they belong with the beard, and I just think that happens. I look at people on TV, on actors and everything else, and I think they all need beards. I'm like, oh my gosh, that guy needs a beard. And men start to age, and I've heard that you age here in the neck area. Like from here to here is where people show their age the most. And I think that the beard covers up and almost makes a man timeless because he'll look the same when he's 16 till he's 60. He'll look very much the same because it'll be just his eyes and a beard, which don't change too much over
Other than the
time.
color, right? The color is another story, right?
Yeah, yeah, that can change.
Yeah, when I first grew mine out many years ago, it was like all black. And then slowly it was getting like blondish, and then now it's like salt and pepper, and but it's fine. And so yeah, so your wife is kind of used to it. The amazing thing now is back in the old days, people didn't have videos the way we do now. So like you can click on your video or even point to a video and say, here's how I used to look, and here's how I am now. And it's not just even a picture; it's like a video. And it looks like two opposite people,
Hmm.
including myself. I mean, completely different. It's not even like any resemblance. Oh, I could see you under there, but it's like it's amazing how it just takes something away, you know. And I noticed that when I looked at you now, and then I saw your old picture, and then it made me go back to look at me with my beard, and then look at me now, and I honestly feel it's a difference between a boy and a man.
Hmm.
I mean, do you realize that or see that in people with that sometimes have beards and then they shave it? They look like a man in one picture and a little boy in the other one.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, it alters some of my friends' appearance so much that they will just like, oh, I will never shave this again because of how much better they felt with the beard. And people don't know whether or not they should have a beard until they grow one. But people all over are making decisions on whether or not they want a beard by looking at other people or just by looking at themselves and thinking, oh, this is my look. If they were to try it, I think some would find that that's their look. Being bearded is the look for them, but they wouldn't know until you don't know until you try, and that's been my motto for people. It's like try it. Everybody's got to try it once in your life.
Right? Try it before you deny it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what else have you noticed since you trimmed, other than the comments by people about how happy they are you trimmed? What else have you noticed? Have you noticed anything in the way you feel personally, whether physically or emotionally?
I feel less confident about myself. I felt very respected with the beard. People listened to me. There was so much good feelings that I need to put into words, but I can't even describe it. I'm probably so much in shock after removing it. It's been months now, and I'm still in shock that I don't have it.
Now, how long did it actually take for you to get to the length it was?
That was a 2.5 year beard. Um, and that yeah, then I ended up thinking, you know what, it's time. I'm in a transition part of my life. It was actually when I was moving from California back to Oklahoma. I decided, these people have never seen me without a beard, and I knew I needed to cut at some point. So I just kind of like, okay, I'm going to do this now. I'm going to try it out. And so people were shocked, and it was amazing to be with two different groups of people. One in Oklahoma that never saw me with a beard, saw me grow it, and were demanding that I shaved it. People in California that saw me cut it off demanded I grow it back.
And you don't think it was a California Oklahoma thing? You think it was just like you said, what they're used to, correct?
Absolutely. I think there's actually more beards here in Oklahoma than there are in California so far since I've been here. I've noticed that.
I would have to agree. I travel a lot, and I would have to agree with that one. Do you have any experience or any thoughts about anything with vanity or anything to do with beards?
Yeah, I've said before that I knew I was going to cut it at one point, and so I was prepared to cut it. But one thing that really pushed me to cut my beard was recently I went to my first and last beard competition, and I was along with these iconic guys from Whisker Wars, just these giant beards and many amazing beards. And then there was a category of where it was a length category, 2 feet and under, which was mine. It was right at 2 feet. And as I was trying to, I was hoping I was going to win, or I was hoping I was going to place, or I was going to be noteworthy in some way. And so there was my category was the largest category in all the beards. So I saw each category, the winners of each one, the top three, and everything else. And there were about 10 to 12 in each category. Mine, there were over 30 or so. And so they divided it up into three groups, and then they were going to narrow that down. Long story short is that I got eliminated in the first round, and one of the judges was angry because he wanted me to be the one that won. He was arguing for my case, and he wanted me to win, and so I didn't. But as I walked away, I kind of started feeling bad. Like, at first I was feeling bad. I was like, man, I wish I could have won. It seems like it was really close. And then I started feeling very vain, and I don't know, like, I can't believe I'm on show. I mean, I believe we all should have beards, but in this competition, I felt almost like shame because I didn't win. My beard is not as cool as everybody else's. It's unworthy, and so anyway, it gave me a lot of motivation it gave me the motivation to cut it because I knew I was going to at some point. After being in the competition, I was like, I just didn't feel right. That I was all about how my beard looked compared to other people's, instead of just growing out for the sake that because I have one. It would be like somebody shaving their head because their hair is not as cool as somebody else's. It's just what it is. And so anyway, that was a part of that was where I started feeling vain, and I didn't want to be about my beard. I love my beard. It is a part of me, but I'm not all about it. If I needed to shave it, I would, but I actually think that I'm just happier with the beard.
Sure. So you're saying you didn't mean to cut it. You weren't looking to cut it out of frustration. You were looking to cut it or think. You started having thoughts about cutting it because you started to think, boy, what's happening to me? My beard's become more important to me almost.
Yeah, yeah, and so at that point I was a little bit disgusted, and it gave me the motivation to do what I knew I was going to do eventually anyway.
Sure. Well, that's going to be helpful to me because I was always missing those competitions by a week here and there. I'd be in a town and it was last week or the week after, and I'm very competitive. So, I'm going to keep your words to heart there because that's a very important lesson. And you're 100% right. We need to, if somebody's going to have a beard out there, they need to do it for them, not for anyone else.
Right.
And that's what it's about. It's part of us, and it's not a competition. It's your body. I mean, it's no winner or loser with that. It's who you are. You know what I'm thinking of right now as you and I are speaking. In the Amish, with the Amish people, they have something. I forgot the name of it, but it's when they're 16, the parents set the kids free. I think it's 16 or 18, but I think it's 16 years old. The parents set the kids free to go out in the world and do all the worldly things, and the kids have a certain amount of time to do that and then decide if they want to come back into the Amish community or if they want to stay part of the world. And so apparently the advantage of that is if they decide to come back to the community, they realize or appreciate more what they have now because they experienced the world, and they definitely don't want that. There's not that curiosity there about, well, what if for the rest of their life? So they
Hmm.
appreciate it more. And as I'm talking to you now, I'm thinking about that for some reason because here you and I, we got rid of this amazing part of our lives, and we're both getting it back in an improved way and having even, we loved it so much before, but such a bigger appreciation for it even now.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. That's an interesting story about the Amish, and I
Yeah.
think that if we tried that, if everyone had to grow a beard for a while, all the men, and then say cut it off, I think we'd all learn at an early age what's best for us.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the video was called "The Devil's Playground." I think that was the name of it. Very interesting. But I've learned some things, and I want to know what you learned. One lesson I've learned is, never say never, because I was like, I'm never going to trim this, never going to trim this,
Right.
and now we got to eat something about words. So, never say never is one. Another one is don't worship the beard because it can kind of rub people the wrong way, even people that like the beard. So what's some lessons you've learned from this experience?
My guess that I love my beard. I think I've learned not to tell other people to grow a beard unless they want to, but just encourage them. I don't want to make people feel bad if they can't grow one. I know a guy who wants to grow a beard so bad, and he's 30 years old and he can't grow one, and I'm just like, well, I guess you were meant to not have a beard, and that's okay. You just accept what you've got. And I think one thing I learned was that we're not accepting what we've got whenever we're shaving, especially men with just tons of stubble and they just continue to shave. They're not accepting the growth that's there. So I don't know what else I've learned. I've learned how to maintain it, that it's not as hard as I thought it was. Um, and yeah, I guess that's all I've learned so far.
Sure. Now, going back to this example, one of the things that keeps a lot of men from first experimenting with the beard is their spouse. Uh, it's a very touchy topic because I know a lot of men that want to try to grow one, and their spouse is like, no way. Uh, in the past, I was like, well, you don't tell her to cut her hair, so she shouldn't tell you to cut your beard and all this stuff. I've come to have a little different opinion about it now, but what do you recommend for someone that's watching and they want to grow it, but their spouse is kind of resistant to it? What advice would you have for that man at this point?
I would say have the woman um, watch a YouTube channel where women do like beards, because I've had people comment on my videos like, "Wow, my wife wouldn't let me grow until she saw your wife on the video and saying that that she does like it now and it takes a while to get used to." And just hearing her thoughts, a woman's thoughts on beards, was important. And then I know some women that will never like beards. I mean, every time they see me, they say, "High and tight, Mike, high and tight," and I have no idea what that means, but I think that means she wants me to cut my beard off. But for some reason, she wants to impose that on me, and if I was married to her, I'd probably have to cut my beard. But my wife I just started talking about how important it was to me, and she said, "Okay, you can try it for a little while." And getting them to take that first step is important because once you start growing it and she gets used to it, and then say you were cut it off, then she can say whether or not which one she likes at that point. But it's a little bit trying to like even the wife she shouldn't be able to knock it until she tries it. He had to be able to try it for 6 months and then give her opinion on it. And so I guess the main encouragement is to talk with other women about it. Tell your wife, hey, talk to so and so, she likes beards, or watch this beard video where this woman likes beards. And it's kind of encouraging just we're just influence other people. If we like something, we can talk to someone and they'll start liking it because we like it.
Sure, sure. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about is a decision I've made, and I might change my mind about it, but that is the mustache. Because when I had my beard last time, I decided to just let my mustache grow, and under no circumstance cut it. I did when I first started growing it, but I had left it alone for about 4 years. And I mean, you could not see my lips, literally. But then it was cool because I learned about mustache wax recently, and I started using that, and that was pretty cool. But you can't have that all the time. So I definitely think the beard looks neater with either a trimmed mustache or mustache wax. What is your experience or opinion about that? And when you regrow your beard, are you going to let your mustache just grow, or are you planning on keeping it trim?
I would be willing to cut it, but my wife does not want me to cut my mustache. But I that's actually prefer that anyway, because once my mustache gets long enough, the wax actually will help keep it to the side. When it's short, it tends to curl and poke my lips. They're just a little bit more coarse when they're short. And then when they get longer, I can just kind of pull them out and use wax and pull them away from my face, and I'm able to eat and everything. And so I prefer the longer mustache, but that's just on me, and I'd say to each his own.
I actually spoke about it a lot and prefer a longer mustache, thinking, you could do more with it and it's more natural. My main thinking was it looks weird to have a big beard and a small mustache. It's something that looks out of proportion.
Hmm.
But I'm willing to give it a try because, I have seen other people and it does look neater
Hmm.
to have a trim mustache and a big beard. So, and I'll see how crazy it actually looks before I decide or start letting it grow again. We'll see.
Yeah.
And so yeah. So now another thing is when you regrow your beard now, do you have a goal? Like you said before, it was just speed. Now I know in your recent video you said you're trimming it up now a little, and you
Yeah.
find that's actually helping it grow faster. But what's your goal? Are you going to keep it trimmed? Do you just want to get a certain length and then keep it trimmed and nice, or do you just want to still let it grow as long as possible and just keep it trimmed? Tell us that.
At this point, I still want it to grow as quickly as possible. I'm just like, I just want a big beard down to here. I just want it back, and I don't know yet what I'm going to do long term. But I think that my plan is as I go to trim and try to see if I can get those slower hairs to catch up, and it gives this fuller beard. And another thing I was doing is I'm not trimming the underneath side of the neck, which is kind of hard to deal with. It doesn't look as good when you don't trim your neck for quite a while until this beard gets to where it covers that up. But when I noticed when I did get the length, I would pull the longest hairs, and they were always connected to the underneath side of my neck. And I was like, wow, I trimmed those for 6 months. And think about where I would have been lengthwise if I had not cut them. But I think the key is I'm going to be patient this time, and I'm just going to keep cutting and trimming. And right now I haven't trimmed in a while, and I because I want the length to happen. So I'm going to just keep trimming it, try to make it look good along the way. And then also, my goal is to understand what beards do for men. And I have a dream of writing a book about all the different things that beards do for men and just listing them and really explaining it all. Just kind of a fun thing, but also I feel like there's something there. I feel like that people we're different creatures than a lot of animals have fur all over, and we're the only ones that have it only on one spot, and that's why I'm growing mine out, and that's why I would grow mine long, just to experiment with that.
Definitely. I actually I have a website now called lovemybeard.com, and I'm
Oh,
trying to gather research for that for a book that I've been saying I'm writing for a long time, really about the health benefits of having a beard and the history of it. There's a great story I've read along those lines of a man who was living somewhere once, and he was the only man in town with a beard, and everyone was trying to get him to shave. Where one time they actually held him down and they tried to get him shaved, and he escaped, and they actually arrested him. But he still never shaved his beard, and it's just really it's a popular beard story. It's on a lot of the beard boards. As
mhm.
for the neck, what you mentioned is I couldn't wait for the front part to grow up because I never shaved my neck in the past previously, and it definitely looked neater. Because when this part is short and you can see the neck and hair on the neck, it doesn't look good at all. So I couldn't wait for this to start growing down again, so it's you don't see the neck, and even when it was long. Are you saying when your beard was really long, you used to shave the neck,
No, I'm saying as I got to this point, maybe
Mike?
the first time, I was shaving the neck to make it look more uniform. Until this part of the beard got to where it would cover it up, and then I stopped shaving. But then after the
Okay.
years went by, I noticed that still the longest part was the part that came from here. Yet I trimmed it for the first 6 months. So I was wondering how much of the length of my beard was gone because of the trimming.
Sure. And yeah, I it's yeah, something else I noticed was a lot of guys would tell me that it itches too much, and that's why they don't have a beard because they can't get past that itchy phase, the first 3 to 6 months. And I actually felt that when I trimmed my beard. I felt that itchy feeling, and I was like, man. And I said, there's no way I'm gonna let that stop this. And so I got past it, and now no problem at all. Hey, did you also experience that when you trimmed or no?
Yeah, I did experience a little itchy, but it doesn't bother me very much like it does some guys. Some guys, oh, I can't stand the itchy phase. I'm like, I don't know. I guess the pain in my face doesn't bother me, and it really I wouldn't even consider it pain. It was just kind of like tickled or kind of a little poking. But I
Sure.
definitely
Now,
know that
is
as
there
a
anything different, Mike? Is there anything different, wash or beard care, different than you were doing before that you think maybe it'll grow in faster if you've learned a trick? Is there anything you're doing different?
I don't really know anything that can help it grow except just being as healthy as possible.
Very good. Very
I've
good.
heard of people. I've been to a beard competition where the guys were talking about certain things that they kind of vitamins that they took and supplements that helped their beard grow. And I possibly would experiment with that if I knew what they were and how they work and I would be open to it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we're looking forward to seeing the growth come and seeing it come back, and I'm looking forward to the videos you're going to make about that because I know there's going to be some great things. So I'm looking at this as good things are going to come out of it, and I'm happy to see the process and join you, as you said in your video, to join you once again on the journey
Mhm.
of you growing a beard. So that's really exciting. And can you give everybody your beard channel on YouTube? Tell them what it is, how they could find you.
If you type in Michael Owen, and I never direct people this way, but I guess if you would type Michael Owen beard, you would see it. Or if you type in beard sensitivity, beards are natural. If you scroll down, look for my face. It usually is the first thing I put on the video.
But it's going to be a face they can't recognize. No,
Yeah, I
no,
know.
no, no. I'm going to put your video. I'm going to put your link under the video. I'll put my link and Michael's link under the video so you can check out our beard channels. And I want to encourage everyone to check out Mike's links and videos. excellent information on it. And again, Mike, thank you so much for taking the time, and I look forward to going through this process with you and doing more videos with you as it's getting longer and the world seeing us again as men and no longer boys.
Right. Likewise. Good luck.
All right, great. Everybody, Paul Neeson, Michael Owen, beards. Michael, anything else you want to add?
Well, I appreciate being on, and I'm just humbled to be a part of your channel, so successful, and you know, I'm thankful to everybody that has been a part of my journey and has encouraged me along the way, and those who've actually got to tell me that I'm an encouragement to them, and you yourself. I appreciate that you've watched some of my videos. So
Very great, very great. Well, thank you, everybody. We'll put the links below the videos. If you have any comments or questions, please post them below as well. Until then, everybody, beard on.